We have a really great interview for you guys. Dr. Jill Stein's on the line with us, of course, the presidential candidate for the Green Party. Can I get Dr. Stein here? So, Dr. Stein, we've got an amazing debate coming up tonight between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Two choices that obviously you think are not great, and a lot of people in America agree with you based on their favorability numbers. So, do you think that you could make a difference in this debate if you were allowed to participate?
I think there's no doubt, the American people coming into this latest scandal, and it's not just Donald Trump's scandal, there's also, Hillary Clinton's scandal of the past 24 hours too, the revelation of her transcripts with Goldman Sachs and other material that really shows, she's been two-timing as well. She has a public set of policies, and it turns out she's also got a private set of policies that she discusses with her big donors, and is very clear that her public policies are not to be taken at face value, that what she's really doing is the secret stuff behind closed doors. So we've got two candidates that the American public judged correctly as, the most dislikable and the most untrustworthy in our history of presidential elections. We've had breaking scandal news in the last 24 or 48 hours that confirms, in fact, that that's the case. So I think this is a house of cards that's coming down. And there is a very intentional media blackout going on that's been in force for quite some time. And I think it's really, all the more intense right now because people, especially after tonight's mud fight, I think are going to be really hurting for a politics of integrity. I'm just really delighted that I'm going to have the opportunity to give real commentary here and to actually address the questions that the American people desperately need to be answered. Everything from the climate crisis to the verge of nuclear war that we are at now with Russia, to a generation locked in debt, to the lack of decent, good-paying jobs. This is what should be the subject of our debate, not whose history is more scandalous and who can sling more mud at the other candidate. And that's what our political system under these two corporate political parties has come to.
Dr. Stein, this is Ben Mankiewicz. I know that many on the left have been critical of the Clinton administration the Clinton administration, look at me already, have been of the Clinton campaign of whipping up a frenzy against Russia. But it strikes me as puzzling to hear a candidate for president say that we're on the verge of nuclear war. What do you mean?
Well, that's not my assessment.
Well, what is your assessment?
Let me just say Mikhail Gorbachev himself, in the last couple of days said that we seem to be closer to nuclear war than we have ever been in his lifetime. And, he's had quite some perspective on this. We've got NATO exercises at Russia's border. We have the war drum being beaten, actually, by the Clinton administration. We could be plunging headlong. Hillary's position on Syria is that we should have a no-fly zone, which means we're going to war with Russia over Syria. So, there's very serious foreign policy developments that are around the corner that really badly need to be debated and discussed, including what is our policy in Syria and where are we getting with these catastrophic wars that Hillary, in fact, has a pretty scary track record on. Yeah, Donald Trump is very scary. Hillary Clinton is very scary. We've got two scary choices, but fortunately we live in a democracy and we have more than two choices. So this is what the American people really deserve to hear debated and to know what the issues are and who their choices are in this race.
So, Dr. Stein, I know you don't love to discuss who's more dangerous, but it is certainly on the minds of the American people as we're about a month out from the election. Who do you think does pose a greater danger to the American people in the world, Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton?
Let me just say I don't think they are the same, but I don't think they are different enough to save your job, to save your life, or to save the planet, or to prevent us from tumbling into more catastrophic wars. So I think, let's not put the cart before the horse here. The American people are clamoring for open debates. Tonight, we are going to see in all of its glory why it is that we must have an open debate if the American people are to have an even remote chance of discussing what the real issues are before them, the critical issues, not just determining what kind of a world we will have, but whether we will have a world or not going forward. Are we going to hear them talk about climate change tonight and how they will prevent that? Are we going to hear them talk about student debt and how we're going to deal with a generation that is locked in economic misery for the foreseeable future? You know, it's 76% of Americans that want an open debate, and these are the two most unpopular and disliked candidates in our history. So what's wrong with this picture? You know, I think we need to really put all, the pedal to the metal here, pushing for open debates and for a real discussion. It's not over till it's over. You know, many people are clamoring to get Donald Trump out of the position of running for president right now. You know, there are some big changes that could be happening. So another big change is, how about we open up the debate and actually let democracy run its course here, instead of this very rigged sham of a predatory political system. You know, in each election, both the Democrat and the Republican are marching further to the right. So what exactly is the exit strategy here? You know, we might find one is less lethal than the other, but they're both pretty lethal. And until we say, hey, we're not going to keep going down this road, which has taken us, you know, it's a beeline for oblivion that we're making here with both these corporate parties on climate change, on expanding war, on nuclear weapons, on endless student debt, you name it. We're not making progress here under both these political parties and their well-established platforms. We saw how far we could get with political reform in Bernie Sanders' campaign, which did everything right and was still sabotaged. You can't have a revolutionary campaign and a counter-revolutionary party. So Hillary Clinton now represents the meeting of the Democratic and Republican parties as the lunatic fringe follows Donald Trump over the cliff, and the leadership and spokespeople for the Republican Party now move into Hillary Clinton's campaign, including John McCain, who just disavowed and withdrew his support for Donald Trump. So the Republicans are coming apart at the seams. The establishment Republicans have merged with the Democrats. We've got one happy demo Republican Party. Is that what people want to be supporting? There is another option here, and it's not over till it's over. And I think, you know, the really critical thing right now is to push for an open debate. Let's empower the American voter. In America, we not only have a right to vote, we have a right to know who we can vote for. And that's
Stein,
what I'm doing tonight.
We're having a little bit of trouble with your connection, but I do want to ask you one more question, and we'll leave it at there because of the connection. So I totally agree with you that there should be open debates. I think it's outrageous that they have not let you and Gary Johnson into the debates, and that is because it's run by the two parties. I believe the exit strategy is getting money out of politics so that we could have free and fair elections. Now, having said all that, 3 months ago, I thought Gary Johnson and yourself had a real chance, I thought that more than anybody else, of making a run at this and having a really interesting, unique election. But as things stand now, you're polling at around 3%. And you just described, I believe, the Donald Trump camp as the lunatic fringe, which I would agree with you. You accurately also assessed that Hillary Clinton is the establishment, and Demo Republican Party, it's a somewhat fair assessment if you ask me. But between the establishment and the lunatic fringe, I think I can beat the establishment next time. I'm not sure I want to risk the lunatic fringe. And I think a lot of people feel that way, rightly or wrongly, and that's why we present to you that question. So if you're still at 3% as the election nears, are you willing to risk the lunatic fringe taking over?
Well, Cenk, look at what produced the right-wing extremism that Donald Trump represents. You know, Donald Trump is rising up on this surge of economic misery that was produced by the policies of the Clintons. That is NAFTA and Wall Street deregulation, you know, which has caused incredible economic hardship, during which people become vulnerable to demagogues like Donald Trump. There is no exit strategy here. We're going to, you know, if you argue that Hillary Clinton is going to fix that now that she's more Republican than ever. I don't think so. I think globally there's a well-established neoliberal movement right now, which is all about globalization and austerity and financialization and fossil fuels and fracking and the big banks and all those things that Hillary Clinton has been such a good proponent of. So we don't get out of this by spending another 4 years here in this race to the bottom between the greater and the lesser evil. And, I'd say if you're that sure that Hillary is that much better than Donald, then, I would challenge the corporate media to just open up the debate and let's see. Because right now, Donald and Hillary have had 20,000 and 35,000 times as much free prime time media campaign, but they are not doing 20,000 times better. They're doing about 10 times better. So there is a drumbeat at the grassroots that is pushing for a truly insurgent campaign like what I represent. And in spite of being subject to a major media blackout, word is out. And, poll came out the other day that about 1/3 of Bernie's delegates are supporting Hillary, but about 1/3 are supporting me. So among people who are informed and who are active, there's enormous interest in my campaign. And I would challenge you and any other media that is clinging to this mythology that Hillary Clinton is going to save us. I would challenge you to allow the voters to be informed and to be empowered to make the decisions going forward. Hillary Clinton announced a month ago she couldn't win the people's votes, so she was going to intimidate people to voting for her. These are the most unpopular, disliked candidates in our history. Even their own supporters don't really like them. They just really dislike the other guy more. And you can see where this politics of fear has taken us. It delivered everything we were afraid of. So I'd really encourage people to consider using the strength of your convictions, standing up with the power of courage, knowing that actually we have enough votes. Just in the 43 million young people trapped into student loan debt. There is the power actually to win this. And wouldn't it be a shocker, if people actually stood up for what they believed in here instead of continuing down this well-beaten path, which is a race to the bottom and from which there is no exit. I would love to revisit this after the campaign and see how it looks with Hillary Clinton in the White House. I don't think it's going to look so good. Either way. Right. Whether it's Hillary or Donald, we need a true political voice for the transformative social movement that's out there. Okay. Because the Democrats are not going to be the principled opposition to Donald Trump any more than the Republicans are going to be the principled opposition to Hillary Clinton. It's time to fix this.
Dr. Jill Stein, the presidential candidate for the Green Party, thank you so much for joining us before the debate. We really, really appreciate it.
Great to be with you, Cenk. Take care.
Thank you.